All right, if everyone is ready, it is 1:30, the appointed time. We're going to begin today's proceedings before the City of Palatka Special Magistrate for Code Enforcement. My name is Ron Brown. I'm an attorney licensed in the state of Florida, appointed by the Commission of the City of Palatka to perform today's hearings. These hearings are, it's on. Thank you. These hearings are conducted in accordance with the requirements of Florida Statute 162, which governs code enforcement proceedings, and City Code of City of Palatka. It's primarily the Florida statute that will govern us today. And those statutes require that we operate under certain types of ground rules, basically dealing with what we call due process. We don't have to follow the official rules of civil procedure or the official rules of evidence as you might in a regular court of law. But we are going to follow what is called basic due process and fairness, and that's going to require that we let everyone who has an opportunity to be here to have notice of why they're here and an opportunity to speak and respond to anything that's being said today. The city will be making their presentation first, and they will be citing the various codes that they believe are violated and the evidence they have in support of that violation. Anyone who's here today as a respondent will certainly have an opportunity to offer any evidence that they have, any testimonies that they have, any questions that you may have can also be answered at that point in time. My role is very limited. I only have one job today, and that's to hear this evidence and testimony and to determine whether or not a violation has occurred. The city will be asking for possible fines in the event there is a violation. Basically, the fines don't take effect until the compliance period established by the order of the special magistrate is not met. Usually it's 30 days. Sometimes it can be longer, and we'll see what the city has to say. That will be a choice that they'll ask. So there won't be any fines today unless, hopefully you're not here before, but nonetheless, that should not be a problem. I do want to let you know that in case of an appeal, this is a quasi-judicial procedure. It's sort of like an administrative hearing, but it's still not the same as an administrative hearing. That's a distinction lawyers make. An appeal must be made within 30 days of the date of the execution of the order, and it goes to circuit court. So there's not an appeal anywhere else. There's not an appeal to the city commission. It goes to circuit court in that response. So as a result of that, there will be a record that will be made of the proceedings. Also, one of the requirements for, in the case a circuit court might review this, is that the evidence be what's called substantial and competent. And to have that as a prerequisite, we're asked that everyone who will be testifying today to please stand and take an oath, because your testimony will be taken under oath. So all those who will be testifying today, if you would please stand. Your respondent, you probably need to stand. Attorneys don't need to stand. And I see that we have our city staff and two respondents. It is on. Thank you. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you should give today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Yes. And let the record show that everyone who has stood has in fact taken the oath. We're going to take the cases in the order of which people appeared today. And we do have some respondents that are present. So the first case and the first person present, according to staff, it will be case number 2021-79. The property is at 212 Madison Street in Palatka, Florida. The name I have for the owner is Winifred Robinson.
Yes, sir.
Is that correct?
Yes, sir. It's 1212 Madison.
1212 Madison?
Yes, sir.
I've got Robinson.
The property is 1212 Madison, and it is Ms. Robinson.
Okay. What were you trying to tell me? I'm sorry.
You said 221.
I'm sorry. That's 2021-079 was the case number.
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay. 1212 Madison.
Yes, sir.
All right. Very good. The okay, Mr. Green, what ordinance do we have, and what's the evidence and proof of violation of the ordinance?
Yes,
And by
sir.
the way, just for the record, all of the evidence that the city has will be displayed on the monitors. However, if anyone's having trouble seeing it, please let us know. We'll make sure you can get a copy it's more usable to you. And do we have a respondent here today? Would you mind coming up and just identify yourself for the record? That sounded good. Could you say your name again? Just that's a nice echo.
Winifred Robinson.
We're gonna be able to live with that. Very dramatic sounding in terms of what's going on. All right, Mrs. Robinson, thank you for appearing today, and you did take an oath. All right, Mr. Green, please tell us what this is about.
Yes, sir. The case, yes, Your Honor. The case was first observed at 11/02/2021. I sent out a voluntary compliance letter, give them 10 business days. Still, the property still out of compliance. I sent a notice of hearing 11/29/2021. We received the green card back for the notice of hearing. The complex posting was also the same date. I have photos from 11/03/2021 to 12/14/2021.
Okay. And when Mrs. Robinson is in fact here, she got notice. Tell us about which ordinance is violated
It's
and.
3032A10.
Okay. According to my record, the ordinance you cite is 30-32A subsection 10.
Yes, sir. Yes, Your
A
Honor.
failure to replace or repair with similar or improved materials in a reasonable period not to exceed 60 days, broken or missing building components, including but not limited to doors, windows, roofing materials, siding, and drives, walks outside of the right of way which detract from the aesthetics of the neighborhood, shopping area, industrial area, other commercial area within the service district. So it looks like you've got missing building components, which might be doors, windows, roofing materials, siding, drives, and walkways outside of the right of way. What do we have?
That's a posting.
Well,
picture,
why don't you, okay, just so you know, photographs are fine,
Yes,
but we need to make sure
That
you
was-
give
that
an
was building
explanation to
with-
go with them so that the record has some verbiage.
the building has no roof on it, Your Honor.
Okay. Well, first of all, did you take the photographs you're about to show us?
Yes, Your Honor, I did.
And do the photographs accurately represent the condition of the property on the date in which you took them?
Yes, Your Honor, I do.
I've got a photograph here dated number one. Is that the one that's up? This is the subject property,
Yes, Your Honor.
and it shows that the roof is missing. Okay. Next. And you can conduct this, it's your hearing.
Yes, sir. That's another second picture with no roof on it. That's the third picture with no roof on it. And those pictures was taken 11/03/2021.
Right.
That's 1B. That's the picture I took 12/14/2021. The roof still hasn't been put on the building. That's 2B, another angle.
Okay.
And that's 3B, a different angle, same date, 12/14/2021, with the building not having a roof on it.
So the roof is gone.
Yes, Your Honor.
So what, I mean, obviously you want to have a roof replaced. Can you specifically indicate just what you want to see done of this? I mean,
Remove the roofing that's in disrepair now and replace it with a new roof.
all right. All right, I'd like to say it's not less more straightforward than that, but we'll see what the respondent has to say. Ms. Robinson, come on up. The city's got a position that the building needs a roof, code requires it, and they want, Mr. Green, how many days would you like to see for compliance here?
60 days, sir, but if she shows good faith, we're willing to go give her more than one time.
You know, I think most of the time the city wants to see, you know, that effort being made to resolve this. It's your turn. Would you like to respond?
Well, the building's been like that for a while. It wasn't like that when I obtained the building. But if you can remember, Storm Matthews came through and it ripped the building apart and took all the roof off the building. So I purchased rafters to replace the roof, but Matthews tore the rafters and everything off of the building, so I could not do anything with it. So I kind of got a little bit discouraged and I left the building as is. Now we kept the building as far as the ground kept clean and everything. There's no roof on the building, which there's a lot of buildings around Putnam County, all around Putnam County, are the same way. Some are worse than mine. At least we kept the building safe where there's no destructive that somebody could get hurt or anything. The windows are in place, the doors are in place. And if somebody want to climb the building to get on the roof, then that's the only way they can get hurt. And as far as the building is concerned, I have gotten to the code, went to the code, to get the building just taken down. instead of trying to replace the building. And I've already got a permit to do that.
Well, that's another option. I hope you understand, and I appreciate your situation and what you're going through. And just so you know, I've done this for a while, like 33 years of doing this. And I've seen a lot of arguments similar to one you have about, perhaps, are they selecting mine for some reason as opposed to why some others haven't been selected? And all I can tell you is code enforcement is generally a product of a complaint. Somebody has complained. Usually, I've very seldom seen where the local government actually initiates one of these complaints on their own. It's usually somebody complains. Interestingly enough, the Florida legislature in its infinite wisdom in the last legislative session made it illegal to have an anonymous complaint. You can no longer just come in and make an unknown complainer and then try to get a complaint resolved. So then you can find out who actually made the complaint. Having said all that, the complaint's here. The only thing I have the authority to do is to take a look and see whether there's a violation of the code. Now, as I read the code, the buildings need roofs on them, and this one doesn't have one. It's a fairly straightforward situation. So if there's another alternative other than putting a roof on it, I don't know what their position may be with regard to demolition of the
I've
building.
already made the decision. I'll just take the building down.
And Mr. Green, that's something you can deal with?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, if that's what you want to do. What the city, if I'm not mistaken, would like to see 60 days to get something done to resolve this
Yes, Your
one or
Honor.
the other.
She has to call me when it's done.
All right. So what we're going to do, I'm going to find that the violation of 30-32A subsection 10 for the lack of a roof is a violation of the city's code due to the fact it clearly doesn't have one. The order will give you 60 days from today's date. That's going to be February 14th. Is that correct, Ms. Hughes?
Yes.
All right, to comply. I don't know how much farther down the road than getting a demolition permit they may want, but that's probably the first step.
I've got the permit and everything, but they said they didn't have the staff to go out and I guess the survey or whatever they need to do. And so they gave me 3 to 4 weeks for them to give me the permit in hand.
Okay.
And so that's what I'm waiting for.
All right. Well, that's on the record. But anyway, you'll get the order regarding the compliance. So if you don't put the roof on and you tear it down, that's fine with me, because they're not, they'd have to bring it, for another violation if something didn't happen. So you'll get that order, and just making sure you did get the mail at the address of it's 200 Mimosa Drive 32177. That's right.
That's right.
All right, you'll get an order regarding that effect. Then you got until February 14th to see if you can get some kind of demolition permit. Keep Mr. Green informed. That way, it's up to them to decide whether there's not compliance or there is compliance, and it'd be nice not to have to pay that fine. Okay. All right. Thank you for coming today.
508 was next, Mr.
I'm sorry.
508.
508. Thank you. All right, next case is going to be 20-21-077, 508 North 17th Street in Palatka. We have the owner is Theodio Denson. Is that correct? Mr. Denson, please come forward. Thank you. And you're the owner of the property?
Yes.
Okay. I don't think you were here when we administered the oath for the testimony. Were you? Did you take the oath?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. Let the record show Mr. Denson's taken the oath. This is a case where we have an alleged violation of just like 3 different ordinances concerning the condition of the property. First ordinance being 30-170 due to the rear and side walls for mold, mildew, and deteriorating paint. 30-169, the building fronts and sides abutting the streets or public areas due to rotten and weakened wood. And 30-32A, prohibited conditions and public nuisances due to holes in the roof. Mr. Green?
Yes, Your Honor. The first is observed 11/02/2021. The notice of hearing was sent 11/29/2021. The posting was on the property with the same date, 11/29/2021. I have pictures dating from 11/03/2021 to 12/14/2021.
Okay. And you've got some photographs. What, you got 3 ordinances. Let's go through each of them and then show me in your photographs what the violations are.
Yes, Your Honor.
You have 30-170, 3169, and 30-32A. This is the first photograph you're showing us?
Yes,
All
yes,
right.
Your Honor.
What are the violations here?
In this picture, Aaron. That's showing the mildew and the deteriorating paint.
And this is the building on the left, the blue one?
Yes, yes, Your Honor. And the roof is collapsing.
All right, is there a tree growing out of the roof?
No, that's behind.
That's the back of it,
Yes.
okay.
That's showing the roof.
This is
collapsing.
picture number 2.
That's showing the roof collapsing and the real and side walls, mold and mildew and deteriorating paint.
Okay,
That's the other side of the house showing the roof collapsing and deteriorating paint. And those pictures was taken 11/03/2021. These are the most recent pictures taken 12/14/2021. Same.
so we're still looking for holes in the roof, rotten and weakened wood.
Yes, sir.
Is that mostly in the roof area?
Yes, sir. Yes, Your Honor.
Okay,
And the deteriorating paint. 12/14/2021, collapsing roof, deteriorating paint, mold and mildew. And that's the other side of the house. 12/14/2021, deteriorating paint, collapsed roof.
it looks green in this picture. Was it?
That's the color of the house.
That's the
Yeah.
color, but it looks blue in the other picture. I was just. So is that green mold?
Yeah, that's that. Because the one side of the house is blue, and I think the other side of the house is green.
Okay. Is that true, Mr. Denson? One side green and one side blue? Okay.
That's how I bought it.
All right. And Mr. Green, did you take the photographs you're presenting today as demonstrative evidence?
Yes, Your Honor.
And do they accurately represent the condition of the property on dates in which you took the photographs?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, just for the record, the 3 ordinances involved, 30-169 regarding building fronts and sides abutting streets or public areas. And let me go back to that photograph. Can you see these views from the public street?
Yes, Your Honor. That's the street in front of it is South 15th, and the roadside is Olive.
All right, very good. The statute requires every such part of a structure visible from a public right of way or abutting a street should be made structurally sound. Rotten or weakened portions should be removed, repaired, or replaced in a manner compatible with the rest of the structure and original materials and construction techniques. All exposed wood shall be stained or painted. Every part should be clean of graffiti, litter, dirt, or other debris. Section 130 regarding rear and side walls talks about the rear and side walls should be repaired and painted to present a neat and fresh appearance. Rear walls should be painted to cover evenly all miscellaneous patched and filled areas or be stucco to present an even uniform surface. And 30-32A, in this case, subsection 10, failure to replace or repair with a similar or improved material in a reasonable period not to exceed 60 days, broken or missing building components, including but not limited to doors, windows, roofing materials, siding, and drives, walks outside the right of way, which detract from the aesthetics of the neighborhood. All right, so the evidence, as I hear this, the city shows the collapsed roof, the rotting, looks like the soffits around the roof. Looks like the doors themselves are suffering from that. You have the street view and the side and rear views are both show a lack of paint and care. Deteriorating paint looks like on the gables of the house. Is the house secure? Is it locked from people getting in?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. What would the city like to see done to this house? To find
Either pressure wash
compliance?
the house or sand it and a nice even uniform coat of paint on it. The roof that's there now, disrepair, remove it and replace it with a new roof.
Right. Is the house structurally sound except for the roof? Do you know?
No, sir, I don't know, Your Honor.
Right.
I don't
So
know.
basically it's repairing the roof and then the paint
Yes, Your Honor.
and then the wooden trim and other
Yes, y'all.
Okay.
All the roofing materials. to
All
go
right.
with it.
Mr. Denson, that's a plate full that they've asked you about. So you have any response you'd like to make to the violation or their solution?
Well, I brought this property, I'm from Miami. I brought this property.
Can you make it out? Can you make out his?
Would be more beneficial.
Yeah,
Okay, I bought this property.
that's not going to work. That's not going to work at all. Does he? Yeah. Okay, how about that? Thank you.
Okay, I bought this property almost 4 years, almost 4 years. And the reason why, really I wanted to sell the property, but they told me I couldn't sell it after 4 years ago.
Who told you that?
It's a statute, it's a Florida statute law.
Okay.
That a tax deed property, you can't sell it until 4 years is up. And the 4 years will be up in May.
Okay.
Either I was gonna fix it up, put the roof on, the property was in worse shape when I got it. The trees and stuff was over. So I put a fence around it and security until the 4 years is up. 4 years will be up in May.
Well, the only thing I have the jurisdiction to consider today is whether or not there's a violation of the code as presented by the city. The other consideration, whether you can buy or sell the property and is not something I can rule on or consider as a part of today's activity. The only thing we're looking at today are the 3 ordinances cited by the city and their evidence as to whether there's a violation of the ordinance. And so the question then becomes, what can you do about it? What the city wants is to give you 75 days to get this solved. Excuse me, 60 days to get this solved. Yeah, well, the 75 was the fine they want to give you. And if you don't get it done within 60 days. And that's a lot of work in terms of getting a roof on the house, getting everything else done. But that's where they are with this, and they're entitled to an order based on that. So I just wanted you to know what can be coming. And you need to stay in touch with Mr. Green regarding your ability to do that and what kind of progress you're making on it. Because what you don't want to have happen is have a fine start accruing on this property, which could then turn into a lien on the property. And then that poses a problem when you try to sell it. Okay, so the statute does have some teeth in terms of trying to engage people in compliance activities. So anything else you'd like to say?
To tear it down.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, what I'm going to do, based on the evidence and testimony presented, I'm going to find that there's a violation of ordinance section 30-170 regarding rear side walls, mold, mildew, and deteriorating paint. Section 30-169, building fronts and sides abutting streets and public areas due to rotten and weakened wood. And 30-32A, prohibited conditions and public nuisances due to the holes in a roof or the lack of a roof. I think it's beyond having holes in a roof at this point. But nonetheless, those are the violations. I will enter an order requiring compliance within 60 days, which will be February 14th, 2022, will be the 60th day. In the event of non-compliance, a $75 a day fine will begin, but there's no fine today. But you need to get some work done on this compliance and keep Mr. Green on speed dial so you can get in touch with him about what kind of work you're doing over there. Okay? All right, and make sure we have you did get the mail sent by the city? Yeah, you got the mail on that. The 14370 Northwest 21st Court, Opelika. You come up from Opelika today? That was a thrilling trip.
Well, I live here in Palatka.
Okay. You get your mail in Opelika?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry, sir, Mr. Denson, you said the address is 14370? 20. Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right. That's a correct address. All right. You'll get that order from us. Thank you for coming up today. Stay in touch with the city. All right. Who we got next?
608.
608?
Yes. Yes,
All right. 608 Madison Street. This is case number 2021-076. The property located at 608 Madison Street. The owners of record appear to be Merceda Mitchell and J.W. Roberts Jr. And it looks like we have respondents here today. Welcome. I say welcome advisory. You're coming into a code enforcement hearing and asking someone telling you welcome may not be what you want to hear, but we're glad that you're here and thank you for being here today. And you, Miss Mitchell, is that Merceda? Is that correct?
I'm Paula Goodwin.
And how are you related to the owners of the property?
She's-
James
Carol.
Roberts is my father. was my
I'm sorry?
father.
Carol,
What?
Care of, okay. And are you Mr. Roberts? Who are you? Are you going to testify? Yes, sir. I'm sorry? Your father. Okay, so this is the property named in her father. Okay, very good. You got all that? All right, mask are fun, and I apologize for that. So you're here today, and are you the owners of record of the property? Are you heirs of the owners?
yes, Your Honor.
They're heirs of the owners.
Yes,
All right, very good. Now we know who we have. All right. This is a action involving, looks like two ordinances. City of Palatka Code 30-170, again, rear side and walls due to mold and mildew on exterior walls. And 30-171 involving windows due to multiple broken windows. All right, Mr.
yes, Your
Green.
Honor. The case was first observed on 11/02/2021. Sent a hearing out for 11/29/2021. I got green cards back. Posting with it on the same date. I have pictures from 11/03/2021 to 12/14/2021.
Okay,
That's the posting.
all right. And we have respondents present. And before I begin, were you here when we administered the oath for your testimony? Your testimony, are you planning to testify? Okay, you're not, is she planning to testify?
Yes,
Yes, are you planning to testify?
yes.
All right, could you raise your right hand for me? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you should give today will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes.
All right, thank you very much. All right, Mr. Green, show us what you have.
The first picture is 11/03/2021.
Can you see the photographs? Ma'am? Can you see the photographs okay?
Yeah.
All right, very good, thank you.
That photograph was taken 11/03/2021.
All right, and hold on, this is a photo. Doesn't look like it's numbered. It's the first photo
Showing the
shown.
house, Your Honor.
Yeah. And which street does this face?
Olive on Madison Street. I'm sorry.
Faces Madison. Okay, there's not a side street, correct?
Yes, yes, Your Honor.
All right, so we have 30-170 mold and mildew and 30-170 for broken windows.
Yes, Your Honor.
It's 170, 171 for the broken windows. Broken windows are 171 for the
Yes,
rest.
yes, Your Honor.
Okay,
That's a broken window.
okay, this is photograph labeled number 1. Okay, next.
That's the mold and mildew taken 11/03/2021.
Next, please. It's photo number 2. This is photo number 3.
That's the mold and mildew taken 11/03/2021.
Okay, thank you. Next.
This is a house now in its present state, taken 12/16/2021. We removed some violations, the roofing violations and other violations because they removed the porch.
So what you citing them for? Mold and mildew and the broken windows.
Yes, Your Honor.
If they just, what solution would you be looking for those windows? Just to board them at
The,
least?
the top front window, the top right one, they
Yeah.
can board it up or they can replace it with a new window. And they could pressure wash the house to remove the mildew.
Okay. This is photo 1B.
Yes, that's 12/16 again.
Again, showing the broken window in the upper
That's
right-hand
12/16.
front of the house. This is photo 2B. Showing mildew and mold and broken windows. What, back up a minute. Again, is boarding up the windows sufficient or do you want them replaced?
The board up of the windows is fine.
Okay, this is mostly mold and mildew here.
Yes,
And
Your
this
Honor.
2B.
They can pressure wash it.
All right,
And that's more than mildew,
and
12,
this is
16.
photo
21.
3B. Okay. That's it? All right, so I understand the city's position as to this structure. Basically, it's either repair the broken windows or board them,
Yes, Your Honor.
and to at least pressure wash the house.
Yes, Your Honor.
Those are the two remedies that
Yes,
you would
Your
be
Honor.
looking for. All right, what kind of time frame are you looking at?
60 days.
60 days, that would be February 14th, 2022. All right, ma'am. You like anything you'd like to say in response? No? Can you pick that up? You might have to give her a hand mic.
We're working on the repairs now.
All right. Here. Bear with us a moment.
We good, Miss.
We good? All right. Here's where we are right now. The city's got a complaint involving two of their ordinances. One of them dealing with the broken windows, the other one with mold and mildew in the exterior walls. The only thing they want to see done to this house is to have either the broken windows repaired or the broken windows boarded over. But they'd like to see the house pressure washed at least. I'm not hearing them call it for it to be repainted or anything of that nature. They just want it pressure washed.
Yes, Your Honor.
Pictures, pressure washing had been done.
Okay.
Just fill it top, not so much on the portion.
Those pictures were taken this morning.
Okay. Well, the photos look like there might still need to be some work done. That's where the city's position is. You're saying it's been pressure washed?
Some of them, not
All right, well, when can you, the city wants to have this resolved within 60 days. That would be by February 14th. Do you think you can finish the pressure washing and get the windows boarded at least by February 14th? Okay.
maybe a good attempt.
All right. If you can do that, then there'll be no fines that will accrue as a result of this. Okay. And they can, 60 days is a pretty long time compared to some jurisdictions. They only let you have 30. So what we're going to do is find there's a violation of the two code sections. That's 30-170 involving the mold and mildew in the exterior walls and 30-171 involving the broken windows. We're going to find the violations exist and we'll give a 60-day compliance period until February 14th, 2022 to get the broken windows repaired or boarded and have the house pressure washed or completed pressure washing it. If you do that by the end of the day on February 14th, there'll be no fine. If you don't, a fine of $50 a day will begin to accrue on the property. Okay? Understand? So there's no fines today, but there could be if we don't get this done by February 14th. And we're going to give you an order to that effect. And it's going to go to this address of PO Box 1655, Palatka. Is that the correct address for you?
Yes, it
All right.
is.
All right. I want to thank you for coming in today. And like I've told other people, just so you know, the city doesn't start these complaints. These are complaints that are fortunately or unfortunately made by others. usually neighbors, but not necessarily. So it's not something the city goes around and looks for. It is something that they get complaints about and they react to those complaints. So just so you know, there are people watching what's going on with the house. Okay, thank you very much for coming today. And you know how to get in touch with Mr. Green? He's the person you need to talk to about compliance. Okay, thank you very much.
Oakland.
All right. We have one more case, and that's the 2021-11, 822 Oak Street. All right. Mr. Green, can you tell me why this is back here?
Mr. Brown, Mr. Collins asked for this to be brought back, but it was been heard. You have issued a ruling on this. His premise is that his client did not receive notice of the
Okay.
hearing where you found the violation.
What's the basis for the argument about notice?
Well, number one, he didn't receive it.
Well,
By certified mail. He testified at the hearing that he had the green card in file. Mr. Green did. And I have the recording of that. It's on YouTube too. He testified he had the green card in file. He had to know he didn't have it. Fact is, the green card is still not in the file.
I got a copy of it.
What date is that?
326.
Hang on. It said it was the only date on it, well, the 11/29/2021 was the postage, which is interesting.
So that's not the notice of hearing that was sent. April of 20.
Mr. Green, I'm gonna let you sort that out.
Now, the 326 notice that was sent is this envelope right here. And I can take some testimony on that if you would like it, but this does not contain a notice,
Okay,
okay?
what does it contain?
It contained a copy of the lien that was filed October 15, 2018, and a release of a lien that was dated, this was filed on that date. This is a release of a lien that was filed December 18, 2018.
All right, let's go back and straighten something out. Statute's pretty simple on this. Is that you send notice by certified mail to the official address of record of the property appraiser and the tax collector's office for this property. What is that address?
That address at the time,
At the time being,
he's moved since then, but at the time,
well, okay, which is what?
It was NYC LLC 295 Hidden Tree Drive, St. Augustine, Florida.
That's the official address on the property appraiser's records, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
is it Hidden Tree or North Hidden Tree?
It
Hidden
says
Tree.
hidden tree on this one.
Are you sure that's what's on the property appraiser's?
They have that over
I
record.
got
I
a green
think.
card back from Hidden Tree.
Do you have the property appraiser's tax collector's
Yes.
records?
It does say it's not in Hidden Tree.
I'm sorry?
It does say it's in Hidden Tree.
Okay,
So it wasn't sent to the right address.
okay. Where do we get the other address? Anybody know?
They just forgot to put the in on it.
Okay,
So, but got the notice, got the green card back for this envelope that I'm holding in my hand, which was sent in March. He testified that he got the green card back for this, and the green card back for the notice that was sent in
so let me go back. When was the hearing held? Refresh my memory.
April the 20th.
Was he here?
My client was not here. We weren't invited.
All right. So he hasn't testified previously at all?
No.
All right. What we're going to do, we're going to vacate the previous order. We're going to set this for January for hearing. Okay,
I would like to address a couple of,
sure.
at that hearing,
We're vacating it.
I understand.
We're not going to hear it today.
No.
I mean, if you got something, it's going to be a new hearing.
Exactly. So can we just do it at that time?
It's
Mr.
vacated.
Brown?
Yeah, we're
That's
going to
what we
vacate
said.
that order and have another
Can we
hearing.
get the satisfaction of the lien that we talked about last time we were here?
What lien are you even talking about? I don't know anything about a lien.
Remember, I was at your first special magistrate hearing.
Right.
One of the issues was there were September 26th, 2018 hearing, which is back when the football was entered.
All right. That was before my time, you understand.
That's correct. But we talked at length about the fact that Mr. Alshami received email from Ms. Kindler before the time of the deadline, saying all code violations have been corrected.
Mr. Brown, if I may interrupt. This is.
That's
not
up to
before-
y'all to sort that
right,
one out.
This is not before you at
Yeah,
this time.
that,
This was previous to you, so that anything that Mr. Collins has to say.
and I'll
can
agree with
speak
that one. I don't know
code
what jurisdiction I
enforcement,
have to
and we
hear
can
it.
Resolve that matter.
We talked
Thank you.
about it last time we were here.
Yeah, but I don't have any jurisdiction to
jurisdiction.
rule on it.
Well,
That's not-
they've been going to release this lien.
Who's
Thank
they?
you.
The city.
Well, and that's up to the city. I don't get to do that.
Well, they slandered my client's title.
And that's between you and the city. All right.
Thank
I
you.
don't, the statute's very limited, Mr. Collins, as you well know, on what I can and can't do here. But I will vacate the order based on the due process claim, and then we'll hear it again at the January hearing. All right, Ms. Hughes, I'm just going to need an order that basically states that we're going to vacate the order previously entered in this case and the date of that order, which was just like 20th day of April, 2021, and then we'll reset it for hearing.
No, they think that that's when
Well, it doesn't release it from the public records. It's all a public
I
record.
understand, but I'm not about the official records. But this is going to be a release recording.
All right, what was recorded in the official records? Which official records are we talking about?
There was a findings of facts and conclusions of law
Yeah,
filed.
just record the vacation.
I will get with the city attorney.
Do the same thing. Just record the vacation of the order.
Yes, sir.
And we'll reset it for January. Okay. All right, we'll see you in January. All right, thank you.
Pardon the interruption. Can we please advise, I'm sorry, as the new owner of the property, vacating this until January, can you please tell me what that means for me?
This is, could you
Well,
identify yourself?
now
and your
you've raised
address,
another
please?
question. We have a new owner of the property.
Yes, sir. And we advised her of this hearing today.
All right.
Could you
Well-
identify yourself and your address, please?
My name is Lavora White Cowan. My address is 104 Valley View Road, DeBerry, Florida.
All right. What will happen, and thank you for appearing today. What will happen is that all the previous orders related to this property will be vacated. That way they will be considered null and void.
Okay.
There will be a new hearing in January. Are you now, have you recorded your deed for this property? So you are the official owner of record. Therefore, any notice regarding this will go to the new owner of record at the new owner of record's official address as located by the property appraiser and tax collector of Putnam County. And do we have that address for her?
Yes, sir.
All right. So what will happen is that they will be sending you a notice of hearing regarding when this will reappear in front of the special magistrate. That will be at the January hearing on January 20. You don't have time to give her notice?
Yes,
Okay. January when?
the 18th.
January 18th at 1:30. We'll hear this case. You'll get notice about it in the mail, so by certified mail at the address of record that we have for you. At that time, you may come and appear and respond to it. It'll just be a new case. We'll hear it from the beginning. Okay? And if you have any
Okay.
questions regarding, what the issue is, please get in touch with Mr. Green. I'm sure he'd like to resolve it before January 18th.
As would I.
Okay?
All righty.
All
Thank you
right,
so
thank
much.
you very much for attending today.
No problem. Thank you.
All right. All right, there being no further matters on the record, we will therefore adjourn the proceedings of the special magistrate. Thank you very much.